Yo, what is going on? It's another episode of NFT Live. We're bringing you the latest from around the Web3 and non-fungible token industry. I'm hanging here with some crazy cats. I don't know what's going to happen here today with Fun Uncle and Gifted on the same episode. Thank you guys for tuning in again. It is NFT Live. We do this Wednesdays and Fridays. We're bringing you the recap from the space. Thank you so much for tuning in on Twitter, on YouTube. After the fact, I don't know, wherever you may be in this grand world, but we'll start it off with Uncle, who's wearing a fantastic hat, I must add. Absolutely fantastic.
This is my go-to rave hat, guys. Whenever I get my squad out, we're ripping these hamburger hats out in the club all the time. That's how we can find each other. We're out partying. But I love what we're doing, like a 1-2 punch. We did Web3 Twitter Space this morning. Quick little siesta, do a little water on the face, and now we're back at it doing an episode again. That's what I love about you guys. You're marathon sprinters over here. Keep it going. And
consistency,
man. This Web3 tribe you've built. I was telling Q before you got on that this is the only Twitter space I've been a part of where you're having to kick speakers. You have so many people raising their hands to jump up and speak. Q was saying we got to petition Twitter to get some more speakers on Web3. And if that's not an advertisement, for those of you who have not been in this Twitter space, you got to get on Twitter, follow Web3. They do a morning show. What is it? Mondays, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, Thursdays, take the weekend off. But you guys pack a punch every single morning, 8 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. You're a legend, dude. You're a legend.
Bro, I appreciate it, man. It's nice. It's nice that, people are enjoying the content that we're putting out. I actually enjoy the survival of the fittest mode, getting to kick people off stage, though. I think that you know what? It incentivizes you to come up and bring... bring the alpha, bring some value to the stage, because your time could be short. You could be cut off. You could be, thrown back down with the plebes if you make a wrong step. So I think it makes people, be on point when they come up on stage and talk with us. So, it's a good time.
I think we're going to start a petition to actually remove the soundboard, though. The soundboard needs a little bit of tweaking. There was some actual Keg Nygaard and Andy James I wouldn't say hate, but it was getting close.
Hey, haters are gonna hate, bro. That's that's part of the fun too. We like to get heated up in there and have a good time. The soundboard adds an extra layer because you know what? If we're gonna be talking about petitioning Twitter, we need to be talking about getting a legit Twitter Spaces desktop client going. That's what we need to petition them for, because right now there's still no way to actually be doing a professional show without doing it through your phone and then a computer. I got a separate Mac that has the soundboard, and I'm trying to hold my phone to get the audio just right at the where does it need to be so it's not too loud, blowing people's ears up, but it's still coming through clear. It's a mess, but we're out here bootstrapping basically a professional radio show 4 days a week.
Yeah, shout out to the Nifty Castle crew. Shout out to the GM Web3 Morning Show crew. Jessica, who am I missing? Brooke, Andy. I'm gonna Animated was on stage talking about.
You just fucked yourself, bro, because you're gonna miss so many of them. You can't.
Yeah. My bad. Yeah. It's a group, as they say. Guys, we are here. We're going to have an absolutely fantastic episode. We are going to talk Stoics, the Stoics by Gabe Weiss. They did have their mint essentially hacked. That's kind of an ongoing story that we'll touch on as we kind of go throughout this story. The other things we're going to touch on in kind of an abbreviated 45-minute, hopefully, episode is going to be the Ethereum merge update and whether that does affect NFTs. I feel like there's still a lot of questions around what's going to happen with my NFTs when this does happen, what's going to happen to my ERC20s as well. And then we're going to touch on a quick ApeCoin DAO proposal that's going to lead into a broader discussion on just DAOs in general. So before we get to that, though, I do want to give it, I see you guys in the chat, Marty McFly, DJ Savage. We're going to pull you up on this new fancy screen that we have here. So if you're on Twitter, leave a comment there as well. I think those come up. But yeah, we're going to bring you up on this nice little thing with us to talk NFTs. Gifted, Fun Uncle, I want to touch on what you guys have been up to. I know, Uncle, you're just coming back from Ibiza as well. Do not put anything up that's not suitable for work. And then I want to get what else Gifted is working on this week.
Why are you censoring him, bro?
Yeah, let me speak my truth.
Give us the
You're right. You're right. I don't have it. Show it. I don't care.
I've never been to Ibiza, bro. I want the experience.
Dude,
Let's see it.
And honestly, like all X-rated content aside, like the reason Ibiza is great is it because the type of people who go there. Honest to God, like I've like, for example, when I'm in Miami and I'm in a club and I like bump into a dude, I get a lot of like, yo, man, what the fuck, man? Like, watch your space. But if I like accidentally bump into a dude in Ibiza, both arms wrapped around me, like, I love you, man. We're dancing together. Like, just the filter, I think is a better way to say it. It's like, it's the great filter. And so I had my squad out there. We were ripping it up for a while. I've known these guys for 20 years. I was in Cub Scouts with these two boys up here at the top here. This is Tyler Dixon and Nick Abraham. I can dox them a little bit. They're all right guys. And it was a blast. It was fucking a riot. Here's another photo right here of me just like living my best life right here in our pool. We had a villa. This is me right after the clubs. The clubs wrap at like 7 a.m. as the sun's raising up. So I'm like, it's breakfast time, babe. Let's get in the pool. Let's cool off. And I was cooling off with my hamburger hat. The other thing too is as I'm off the club, I can hear people in Spanish go hamburguesa like everywhere we went, and we could just find ourselves in the club wearing these hats. And man, I want to go back. Honestly, take me back to Ibiza. It's the best time. It's this tiny little island off the coast of Spain and the Mediterranean, but it just has like Vegas style nightclubs that like you can't see the other side. It's like an airplane hangar full of people, good vibes constantly. And now I'm back, rejuvenated. I got my dancing hat on. I'm ready to do some play to earn game content. All this Sunday is the next episode of Fun Uncle, and I'm gonna do play to earn games, talk about the Fractal marketplace. They're now letting you buy NFTs directly with a credit card in their marketplace. And so I'm just going to go heavy on Fractal this Sunday if you want to check me out on the LADZ City network. But right now I'm kicking it with two legends, two like icon builders in the Web3 space. I'm humbled by your presence. Gifted and Nifty Q, thanks for having me on the show, you guys. Thank you. Thank you. You're blessed.
Bro. I just had to say really quick, I love, the concept of disconnecting so that you come back stronger, disconnect to reconnect. But also, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, I'm still, learning about these new gender norms, but a Cub Scout is a bottom to a top bear. Is that right?
Ooh. Wow. We don't ask and we don't tell in the Cub Scouts, you know what I'm saying? Still got
Are you trying to do technical analysis there, Gif? Is that a TA reference?
I'm trying to get the real inside scoop of what they were up to in Ibiza.
Even threw in the Spanish lisp. I like it. Look, my man is cultured. My man is cultured. All right.
And you know what they tell me? To stop saying that. Everyone in Spain is just like, that's wrong. Don't do it. But it's Americans keep kind of like Barcelona, Ibiza.
It's so annoying.
Yeah, they hate it. They hate it so much. That's Americans are the worst. But anyways, let's keep talking about it. Guys. We got conversations to talk about.
Gif, anything updates on what you're doing with Nifty Castle, what you're doing with the GM Web3 show? I know you also mentioned that that Nifty Castle group was on the whitelist as well for the mint, the Stoics mint. So what do you got going on in your neck of the woods before we get started here? Talk about this hack.
Yeah, a lot of it is about continuing to build out partnerships and different utilities for the community. And one of them, which, this is maybe a great segue. Savage isn't here, so I don't know if our segues are going to be that good today. But
not a bit close.
But actually, I think he is here hanging out in the chat. Shout out Savage. We joke. We love him. And if you don't know, the best segues in the business, that man. But yeah, so relevant to the Stoics, Gabe Weiss, one of our favorite artists in the space, one of the biggest NFT artists in the world, just an amazing dude, one of our OG friends of the castle. He has been working on an awesome, art-focused PFP collectible project called the Stoics for months and months. I actually got one of his first hand-drawn Stoics at VFriends. So I haven't been excited about a lot of projects, right, for the last several months. There hasn't been that much that's gotten me really amped up. This has been one that I've been really looking forward to, that actually kind of felt like, I woke up today like it was Christmas, like today's the mint day. I'm like really, really excited. I'm on the list, to get the early pre-sale discount. And, we'll get into what's happened with them and why they're delaying here in a second. But to your question, Q, Gabe Weiss did a collaboration with DBs with us. So there's this amazing DBs Gabe Weiss limited edition NFT that's out there that we dropped when he came to LA for Gabeapalooza last year. And all of the holders of that Gabe Weiss DBs NFT, it's named Infinity Eyes, by the way. It's super dope. Go check that out. Yeah, it's on OpenSea. If you search Gabe Weiss DBs, it'll come up. Yeah, there it is. That's the one. So if you hold that, then you get the early discounted access. You can get 2 Stoics mints at the discounted price of 0.0888. So, I'm on the list. I'm amped up. Some of our community are on it through the DBs and collecting that piece right there. But, they obviously are figuring out what happened. But it seems like there was a hack. They got botted. They believe it was a pretty large scale attack because there was also, this is all information that's up in the announcements, and I recommend people go to the Stoics Discord, read the announcements, because they are actually doing a really good job right now of keeping people updated on what they're figuring out. But basically, they paused it. It seems like there was a large-scale attack because there was also a bunch of fake projects going up at the same time. And bots started minting out a whole bunch of the project for free. And luckily, they were able to catch the issue really, really early, kind of hit pause on everything and notify the community so that people haven't been buying on the secondary. The art's not revealed, and they're basically going to restart the mint from scratch after they refund anybody that did. So that's where it's at. I'm still very excited. It's very unfortunate that, these hackers and the botters and all that shit, they got to come and ruin my Christmas morning like that. But I'm still excited to mint my Stoics when they figure it out.
Here's the glass half full conversation is like, isn't this maybe a rite of passage? Like getting hacked is your gateway to becoming a blue chip project maybe. And so I want to look at this, in a fun uncle light to be like, it sucks that they got hacked, but they recovered the funds. Everyone's going to get their mint feedback. They're going to rebuild and then better too. And then also there's no such thing as bad press. And so here we are talking about it, adding a little bit more fuel to it. Then they've got this underdog story. Like, I think this is one of those things that like, it's a speed bump, but really it's going to elevate them to another level. And so I'm just hyped that like, no one got hurt. You know what I'm saying? No one got hurt, and it's building up the project, and they're going to build back better.
You did not just add build back better. You had to add the politics into the show.
Bruh.
I did that with
can't go.
It's the hamburger hat, man. It's the hamburger. Damn this hat.
So I'm going to try to link the Twitter spaces that the team had earlier this morning. Great points from both of you before the build back better comment. Because GIF was mentioning that they were communicating really well. I'm going to take a GIF quote here and re-ranch what we're trying to do. But they had a Twitter space earlier this morning. I think it was happening while the team was kind of trying to come to grips, but they did a great job of communicating. This does happen in the space more often than we'd like for it to happen. And I think, you make another great point there, Uncle. Like, this is something that you can probably bounce back from pretty well. It happens enough in the space where, and this was a point I want to pull from that space, is that they thought it actually was a positive in a way that they were getting a lot of hype. They didn't know if people that were in the community were going to be able to take part in this. And now you kind of separate the wheat from the chaff here and kind of just have maybe your strongest community members wanting to be a part now that this negative thing happened. Maybe it's a reach, maybe it's not, but I like it.
No, and if nothing else, the point is that there's obviously a lot of attention and hype, and so that's usually a good thing. I think I can't stress enough how important it is that they caught it really quickly and the communication is as solid and on point as it is. Because if they hadn't caught it quickly enough and been able to kind of stop people from getting into the secondary and aping in on this shit, it would be a complete fucking mess. Or if like the art had been revealed somehow, like then that might ruin some of the, the promise of the surprise, like all that type of stuff. And then they might have had to like rejigger the metadata on top of everything. So it's just like, the fact that they caught it early, they were able to kind of pause and like make sure that a bunch of people didn't also start getting into secondary, I think really, really sets them up to be able to restart.
So quick question that I wanted to get to before we move, like stay in this kind of mint discussion, is why the Stoics were like hyped up to begin with, right? Like your community is on the list to get any of these NFTs, obviously during this mint, and it's just hyped up in the space right now. Kind of why the project, other than kind of saying, Gabe's popular. What type of things make it so that it is going to be a popular project and likely that someone might want to take part into on secondary if they're not in the mint.
Yeah, and I've got a lot to say on this. So, Uncle, if you want to chime in on it, go ahead, and then I'll do my whole bit.
No, dude, dump right into it. Don't tease me like that. Do you, baby? I want to hear it all. Pour that sugar on me.
Yeah, well, so there's a lot to unpack. There's a lot of reasons. It's always a confluence with these things, not one thing or the other. But I think, you're like, don't say Gabe is popular. I think Gabe is primed more than anything. Like he is an established artist. He's been a painter for, like 15, 20 years or something like that. And he got into NFTs early. And he hasn't launched a big collectible project like this that is of his art in his own unique style. So he's been building his relationships very, very effectively in the space. He's been part of a bunch of other projects. He's seen how it's done. He has a legit team, and he's taken his time. So it's like he's doing a lot of things right. But because of where he's at as this sort of emerging artist who's established but not quite super famous yet, he's been able to get in and network and build those relationships through, like our community, doing collabs with people like us, a bunch of awesome other people. He's been able to collab with Xcopy, with Pop Wonder, with all these amazing artists, Jessica Yatrofsky, all these relationships that he's been building over the last almost 2 years now. He's able to leverage that into this project on top of the fact that he's providing a product at a specific time that doesn't exactly exist in the space. And I don't just mean his own unique style, which it is that, but also right now there's kind of more of a yearning for, I don't know if quality is the right word, but more like art focused one-of-one artists. Like, you know what I mean? Like he is a one-of-one artist, whatever that means. And that he's usually doing low edition, piece at a time, not big collections. So this is a more art-centric, art-focused collectible PFP, and I think people are gonna fuck with that.
Uncle, I want to get your take on this too, because in general, the way I feel about this like move towards people actually thinking about the art visually and aesthetically, it's that they're not able to flip it as often, as much. They're not thinking about so much on the financial side as it is like, is this gonna look dope in my office, or is this gonna look dope in my house? Like all of these things kind of come back to us after we don't care about flipping it for 1, 2, 3 ETH.
Well, because in this specific circumstance, we're talking about Gabe, and this is one of his pieces of art, and there's like such a value to that, especially once he is maybe closed the doors on doing artwork, or God forbid is dies from some tragedy. Like this is he made this. His time equity went into making these things, and so there's that art aspect, and then the community too. Like a community that can weather, these mishaps, normally, especially if you're early on and you don't have a great community and you get hacked like this is the exodus moment for a lot of people where they're just jumping ship. But because he's got this great, posse of people, he's got this track record and reputation, people are like, no, we ain't going nowhere. Actually, if anything, this has built your community up. People are digging their feet in the ground on this. And then that, of course, asset value then increases as a result. And so
you nailed it right there when you said track record, because I was going to hit on that, right? Because this is less about, hey, look at this roadmap and all these crazy promises we're making, and more about who is Gabe Weiss, where is he at in his career, and the fact that he has been building not just his art, his resume as an artist over the last however many years, but over the last year and a half, 2 years, he's been showing a track record in the NFT space, right? So it's like you are betting on this artist, on Gabe Weiss, and who he is, what he's going to be doing, more than you are on like some crazy promises of, utility.
And the fact that they handled this so well actually like bodes, well. He was in the actual spaces. I'm not saying that he was like completely like in great spirits, but he handled it very stoically, as is the project.
On brand.
And I'm trying here, but anyways, the fact that they did handle it well though is a good testament. I mean, like there are a lot of projects, and we know in the space, if you've been here for a year or two, there are some projects that this happened to, and it was radio silence for like hours, maybe sometimes even days at least I've seen one where it was like a 24-hour period before the team got anything out. It's like, okay, well, in the absence of information, people are going to fill in what they believe, and it's just going to be super negative. And even though this was tough, they got after it. They were in spaces, so applaud to them.
And what an ad for Gabe too, like the kind of person that like he's a one-man band on this stuff, right? And for him to have like better response and better what is that, disaster relief maybe than these projects.
He's not in this for this project. And again, that's kind of the point of a track record is he has been a one-man band. He's been building himself, and now he's scaling up to do a larger project and building a team out for this. So it's like he's primed to do a bigger project now because he's shown that he can do, the shows by himself, do big events by himself, do galleries, do one-of-ones, and do all this shit successfully. So he actually has a team now, which is why the response has been so good. He's doing it all. He's doing it all right, and he's learned a lot.
What an ad for Gabe. I mean, if you guys were ever on the fence about getting any of his artwork, this is a guy that he's going to keep going on and doing projects. And if you're able to snaggletooth one of these bad boys, when he's coming out with the next one and 10 projects down the road, people are like, oh, wow, you were lucky enough to get on that, and there's already history associated with it. Like he's, how many more times is this guy going to get hacked? Right? Like this has got a historical stamp on this whole artwork here. So I'm looking at this as a glass half full. It's 3/4 full, guys. This ain't even that bad.
That's a Fun Uncle special, glass half full. Love that. Hey, shout out to the chat really quick. Cyber Extreme says Olaf from I have to say Barcelona. I guess we don't say Barcelona here.
That.
So okay, so I'm trying Barcelona, not to. Santino's in the chat saying that's why I like them. High effort art, not shitty doodles. Sir, first of all, I think doodles art is actually good for a PFP, so don't be bringing that doodles hate into this. Xpaw is also saying, after what he did with Fluff, I'm excited for Stoic. And then I do want to get y'all's takes. I mean, we have the capability, we have the technology to bring your comments onto the screen, so please do. Also hit that Twitter link there, and it'll take you to the Twitter stream that you can retweet or like if you like. If you don't like it, I don't know what to do.
Fuck off. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Yo, last point here. We do have to kind of, move on to the next topic, and I do want to get y'all's last points as well. GIF was able to send me a couple links. So another aspect of this is like the technical piece, that there wasn't any funds lost. That goes a long way in, I guess, making it seem like it was something they can bounce back from quickly. When a project gets hacked for millions of dollars, it provides a little bit more of a cloud than you would get in this scenario. So we did get a comment in their Discord saying, we have just confirmed all funds are safe. We will pay back everyone who paid to mint. This appears to have been a large-scale attack with other Stoic collections popping up on OS at the same time. We are in touch with OS through personal channels. And there's a couple more if you got anything there, GIF. But I mean, it feels like something they're gonna be able to bounce back from quickly. And shout out to the handling of this. Anybody got anything else?
Hope. I would just add to that. You know what? This is, I think, a chance for the community to show up too for legit people in the space that are trying their best to do real things and not just go and crap all over everything. When stuff doesn't go perfectly. So you know what? Shout out to us for being mature fucking adults about this shit. Because there's some people out there just looking for reasons to hate, and this is I think shout out to any community members out there who are being patient, who are waiting for the information, who aren't just going out and shitting all over a project that's dealing with what's obviously an upsetting, awful situation for them too.
Well, good on us for taking this opportunity to not shit on them, and if anything, we're gassing them up. And if this was an advertisement for them, I don't know what is. I
feel like I did my good deed for the day.
So last quick question I have here for the mint itself. What was the cost? And if somebody was trying to buy in secondary, do you foresee a situation where they should be kind of looking at that? I know that's kind of like a open-ended question. But for those people who aren't in the mint, do you think secondary right after the sale is a good time, or not financial advice and all that stuff?
we still have to wait to see. I mean, I can tell. So the mint is progressive. There's like two different allow lists. It goes from 0.0888 to 0.0999 to 0.111 for the public. So that's going to be the mint price. And again, he can command that because of the quality and what he's built in the space. And compared to a lot of the free meta that we've been seeing, this is the reaction to that, right? But yeah, like, where is it going to go in secondary? Like, we don't know. I have no idea.
Don't want to even gander a guess. Okay, that makes sense, guys. We are here.
And so I can tell you that I'm going to be watching it and possibly picking up more depending on what happens.
Yeah,
hot takes.
Love it. All right, appreciate those comments in chat as well. We are going to move on to our next topic. We got a couple more to hit, and then if you guys do have at home any other comments or topics you want us to hit, we're going to do it. We're like, let's just put it out there. We're going to cover what you want us to cover as well as the topics that we have here today. The next topic, though, is going to be the Ethereum merge. So we did, and Uncle, if you could pull in the private chat, I put it. Oh, my man, look at this guy. Just
can't turn it off. It's a curse.
We got a tweet from Vitalik here that says the merge is still expected to happen around September 13th, 15th. What's happening today is the Bellatrix hard fork, which prepares the chain for the merge. Still important, though. Make sure to update your clients. The update your clients is not for us at home here. It's more for, I believe it's going to be the miners, obviously those people who are charged with kind of taking care of the network, quote unquote. They also have another fork that's going to happen called Paris, I believe, and then you're going to officially see ETH 2.0. The main question I have here and the main topic that we're going to cover is what that does to people's NFTs, because I feel like it's kind of up in the air whether there's even going to be on NFTs on this proof of work chain that is likely going to emerge. We don't even know for 100% certainty that it will. 99.9% chance it is going to, because there's actors out there that want this to happen. We've seen this on other chains as well, Bitcoin Cash. We've seen Ethereum Classic. So the chances this happens are likely, but what does that look like for you is the topic of conversation. So, Uncle, do you have anything as we kind of make our way into that topic, or GIF? I don't know who wants to start.
Yeah, of course. I mean, where there's smoke, there's fire, and if you're thinking about it, there's already developers working on it, is how I usually think about these things. And would it really be a true Ethereum fork if it didn't have those capabilities and if it didn't have some of that ghost code in there somewhere for us to unearth? And so I think, yes, 100%. There will be NFTs. Even the NFTs you already have will be somewhere hidden in that chain, if not readily apparent for us. And then, just the fact that we're even thinking about it and talking about it means that either white hat or black hat hackers, like my hamburger black hat here, are working on unearthing some Bored Apes on this new chain as we speak. And I bet you we'll see something within a week, within a month. You know what I'm saying? So that's how I feel about it. This new thing is just prime with so many opportunities that I don't even know where to begin, if I'm being honest with you. What's the thing that whenever you think about this, Q, are you basically I'm projecting here, but I'm thinking that you're just oh wow, I now have 2 Bored Apes is what you're really thinking or saying here, right?
I just don't think that there's going to be a market for the proof of work NFTs. I think there will be proof of work NFTs that may have a market, but that's not necessarily going to be the duplicates. This is going to be living as its own chain, as much as you guys don't think it will. And I don't say you guys here with me. There's people out there that are just going to think it's going to die. This is going to be a living chain for years and years and years. I don't know how long, but Ethereum Classic still exists. People are building on Doge chain. You're going to see NFTs on that. I don't think it's necessarily going to be the duplicates, if there even is technically going to be duplicates.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever happened to the conversation around the originally minted CryptoPunks?
You break that down for me. What's the original? What do you mean?
So wasn't there a scenario where they fucked up the original mint and they had to remint, and then people were going back and unearthing and actually buying and selling the original collection that wasn't the really high value one? So I could see a scenario like that maybe, but I don't know. To me, I do agree that if you can still do NFTs on proof of work, which you can, that there might still be people experimenting and trying to do cool experiences there using the tech. If you use the technology differently in like an innovative, novel way, then that's interesting. I don't think trying to like compete like, oh, well, I got both versions. Like maybe some collectors will be into that. I think that's kind of dumb. To me, what's more important about the whole conversation around the merge is a couple things. One, beware everyone that there's going to be a shit ton of scams, a shit ton of people trying to separate you from your ETH. There's going to be all different types of like people trying to FOMO you into clicking on a link, saying like there's an airdrop, this, that, the other. Protect yourself. Don't be dumb. Don't get fucking taken in. Do all of the 101 like safety shit that you can do for real. Like, anytime there's a big moment, and we're seeing it today with the Stoics. Like it's a cultural moment. There's people getting taken advantage of and losing out. And don't be one of those suckers that loses around the merge, because you already know it's going to be a massive moment. There's going to be a lot of FOMO. Everybody spreading a bunch of information. Most of it's not going to be true. So just be super careful. So that's one. The other thing is that like setting expectations appropriately within the community, I think, is really important. And what I mean to that about that is that I think Vitalik's quote is that with the merge here in the next week or so, that's actually only about 50 to 60% to the final version of what ETH2 is going to be. There's still a lot of steps that need to happen for it to be fully actualized. And I think a lot of the expectation is that, when we hit this new milestone, everything's going to be final and perfect. And it's not, right? Like, for instance, you're not going to be able to withdraw your staked ETH for like another year, maybe, or at least till 2023. So I think that's the other thing, is just beware of the expectations that you're setting for yourself around this thing. Understand that this is just a big milestone in this larger process.
Hit it, Uncle.
Great. Oh my God. That was freaking awesome. And some alpha I didn't even know about your stake, your proof of work coin not being available. I was just going to maybe add on to that, or ask another follow-up question, is just like, let's say you are a person out there who's got some ETH who, wants to participate in this and wants to get their forked ETH or whatever, but what's the best strategy in order to like be able to participate, but also like protect yourself from these potential hacks? What would you suggest to people?
I think we have to like break down like what that hack even looks like. There's been talks about like replay attacks, where like someone makes a transaction on your proof of work, the proof of work chain, that can then be replayed on the proof of stake. It's all kind of convoluted, but I think it comes back to the fact that you still have to, I think, lose your private key on both chains. It's just another RPC. Like when you added Polygon to your network, that's essentially what I believe is going to be the change when we move to this proof from a user's perspective. So I don't think that there is this there's this idea that you can have that replay attack. I don't know how valid that is. I don't know how valid that is. We have a bunch of awesome people in the chat. We have that are way smarter than me at the technical aspects of the blockchain when this merge occurs. So please, by all means, tell me what's going on. But I don't think that the replay attack is valid without losing your private key.
So go ahead.
Oh, no, I was just going to add, like, what I'm doing personally is just diversifying a little bit. Like I've got coin on a couple different exchanges. And so I was almost just like, evening things out a little bit, if I have too much of my MetaMask, I moved a little bit over to Coinbase, because I'm not even sure if I'm even going to get the forked coin over on MetaMask or not. Will I get that on Binance? Will I get it on Bittrex? And so that's kind of the conversation I'm having, is like, is it better to have it on KuCoin, or is it better to have it on Coinbase? Those kind of things. You're
best to have it on MetaMask. Like, just full stop. You're best to have it in your own wallet, as opposed to dealing with these third parties who are going to say, "Hey, we're offering this, but who knows? Are you going to get the same day?" Because part of this is like, if you're looking to sell these coins immediately, are you going to get it the same day? Because the token is going to absolutely plummet. And then we'll see what happens afterwards. Again, I have to keep going back to this. Bitcoin Gold, Bitcoin Cash, ETH Classic. These are all markets that are going up and down all the time. I'm sure ETH Classic is fucking up 40% today. Like, and I'm not saying that's true. But at some point, the ETH proof of work coin is going to bottom, So I'm going on a fucking rant, but people need to understand that this is going to exist. I think the best way to do it, Fun Uncle, to your point, is keep it on your MetaMask so that you get the airdrop coins.
This is great, and this is why we do it. Great alpha, nice work. I love it. You hearing that, everybody?
What do you got, Giff?
MetaMask.
I mean, I haven't seen anything definitive about the airdrops or like specific tax, and I'm not a dev or a coder, so I don't want to speculate on like the ins and outs of what that might look like. All I know is that the most common attack vectors remain the same, which is signing transactions from malicious places, clicking on malicious links that you can't trust. Or doing some weird DeFi protocol, wrapping your shit up in some shit coin because they promise you crazy APYs, things like that. Like, just stay away from all that shit. Keep it to the basics. Keep your shit in your main accounts or MetaMask, whatever, and just like take your time and watch what happens. I feel like you're gonna be better off than trying to FOMO into some crazy shit.
This felt like the organic next thing to pull up,
So we've got, so this was on our dashboard as well. I can link all these in the description post episode. We'll start doing that in the middle of the or before the episode start for you guys so you can follow along. This was kind of just an organic, tweet from the Twitterverse here. But as you can go down in this explanation, it kind of goes along the point of like what is going to happen when this ETH proof of work comes out, why there are potentially some problems with the merge when it comes to dealing with your NFTs. But I think overall, and I got to side with Marty McFly in the chat here, the split will be a non-issue after a month, or just like no one cares about Bitcoin Cash. That being said, there's something that could go, there's the ability for this to not go well. And that could be a real bad thing to happen in a bear market. Hopefully that doesn't. Hopefully it goes on without a hitch. And if we continue to go down, you see this tweet here, number 7. It says effect on NFT. So in a perfect world, nothing happens. Change is seamless and you don't notice. Everything will be done kind of behind the scenes. All of these larger projects have said they're going to actually be supporting the proof of stake NFTs. OpenSea saying that same thing. So hopefully this is much ado about nothing. We're just kind of pontificating here about, well, what happens if a proof of work chain does get adopted or the proof of stake merge doesn't, work very well. So there's all these different questions, but most likely everything's going to kind of look the same. The gas fees will probably look the same. Like I think that's one of like the biggest kind of, I wouldn't say lies out there, but one of the biggest perpetrated ideas is that this is going to reduce gas fees. It's really not. This is more of like a move towards, again, proof of stake mining or validating as opposed to proof of work mining, which is what you see with Ethereum and Bitcoin at this point, both proof of work chains.
Well, and then as I'm reading this tweet, I'm starting to think to myself, well, maybe that's the proof right there, is like, if these, if a Bored Ape comes out from anyone other than Bored Ape, it's a scam. It's some kind of hacker trying to get into your wallet, trying to, pull your coins from you. And so if you're not seeing it directly from the developer, then it's some kind of black hack, that you should probably avoid at all costs.
Yeah, I would agree. So,
and I'm
so there was another tweet in that thread that we won't pull up, but I'll have it in the description, that was basically going through the actors that are responsible for making this proof of work chain a thing, right? That's the reason Bitcoin Cash exists, is because Roger Ver wanted another chain that he, not necessarily he could control, but there was a lot of actors around why these other chains exist. And you kind of have to understand that concept. If there was nobody profiting from this proof of work ETH chain, then it wouldn't exist. But there are people that stand to make a lot of money through this ETH airdrop, and therefore will want to see this ecosystem flourish, whatever that looks like.
And the next question I think we all have, or at least the audience has on their mind, is like, what is the aftermath? You know, like I think the consensus I'm hearing from a lot of people across Twitter is like dump incoming, right? Like this happens, we all get our coins, and then this has just been the moment everyone's been waiting for to sell. I even remember whenever you locked up your coin in ETH 2.0 staking, you then had an opportunity to start selling once the merge happened. And so I'm just wondering to you guys, you know, how do you think about the space? Is this a buy the rumor, sell the news event? Like, what will be the consequences after September 15th happens?
Okay, so volatility definitely incoming for sure, but like to me, I always stick to the macro trends. I don't frankly give a shit like if there's a quick dump or not. I look at what are the opposing forces, or what are the other forces at play in this, and one of those is that there's potentially, at least in theory, there's a lot of businesses and different types of entities sitting on the sideline waiting for this opportunity. And so to me, that's one opportunity for a lot more players to be coming into the space, to be coming onto the chain, using the network. But how long that takes to play out could be months, could be a year or two, right? The other thing, like we mentioned, is that when this merge happens here in a week or two, that actually does not unlock all of that staked ETH. So like, I don't know what people are thinking, that like all that ETH's going to dump all of a sudden. It's not, it can't. It's still locked up. So like, yes, there'll be volatility because everybody's going to speculate around this shit. But if you fucking hodl that shit, you know, people are now starting to believe that ETH has the potential to 1 million X because of the utility that it's providing. It is the main utility and application layer for all blockchain. So it's like, yeah, I'm not saying it will. I'm just saying, like, I'm a firm believer in the macro trends of technological adoption and of blockchain adoption. And so, like, whatever happens in the next month doesn't really fucking matter to me, because all my staked ETH isn't going to be unstaked, and I'm still going to be bullish on ETH no matter what.
I feel like a lot of this conversation, again, is not going to really matter in the long term of things. Just like Gift said, like we're going to likely have an okay merge. Maybe something, you know, minor happens where people didn't expect. People are going to lose money. That's a given on scams and things like this. But over the long period of time, your horizon on ETH should not, you know, change. It's like 10K to me feels natural for ETH. That's kind of where I, you know, have that in the next coming years. I don't know about 1 million X, but if you're looking at like where this space can go, if it's adopted by most of the world and ETH being on top of that, who knows? I mean, that's been the Bitcoin narrative for a long time.
Savage has an interesting point, and that's that, you know, a lot of the big exchanges are going to be very wary and careful around this, and probably instituting some kinds of safeguards, which it looks like Coinbase is in terms of pausing withdrawals and deposits right now for ETH. So that's going to provide some stability too. I mean, I'm not saying it's good or bad. You know, like, I'm not a fan of exchanges controlling my access to my funds necessarily, but that's the reality that, you know, we're living with.
I'm excited for the narrative of just being crossed off the list. I'm sure there's a fucking 15 to 20 page list that these fudders have, these no coiners, if you will, to just say this is bad about NFTs or this is bad about cryptocurrency. But at least one will get, you know, checked off the list, which is this is going to push like our carbon footprint, quote unquote, of the chain down 95, 99% is what I'm hearing from just the initial kind of look at this move.
Yeah, it's like over 99%, I think, or over 98%. It's going to be, and especially again, like, this is why all that FUD was always bullshit in the first place. Because when you actually compare it to the comps, to other business models or things that it's similar to or replaces, like it's not even a big issue anyway. It's just been like the target of a lot of people's, you know, vitriol. Was that the word?
Right. That was the most hate came about, you know, the CO2 emissions of our mining. And, you know, now that we're checking this off the list, we're just looking at the haters, just like, what else you got? Honestly, what else you got? We're checking it off the list one by one.
I think there will be volatility, right? Like you touched on it. There is going to be some volatility as it relates to ETH. the staking, as you pointed out, isn't going to, release any of this ETH liquidity until I think, is it a 6-month period? Do we have a definitive date?
They don't, but they said 2023. It's
okay.
It's not going to be for probably at least 6 months.
Yeah, if it goes extremely well, it's tough to even just say. Like even on the Stoics piece where I'm asking you about price, it's like who the fuck knows? But we're also tied to the broader market.
You want me to make some shit up? You want me to make some shit up?
Can you please, as Kane Mayfield would say, is this financial advice?
Yeah, financial advice. Let's go.
Soundboard out, dude.
To the moon, bitches. Let's fucking go.
You heard it here first. ETH to 100K. That's what we're doing here today. Thanks for tuning in to NFT Live. We are not leaving. We have more financial advice to give you. We're going to touch on an ApeCoin proposal that went through, but also kind of a broader discussion on DAO governance, I think, and then ApeCoin, right? Like we touched on last week, the other side is coming out with their round 2, essentially, of whatever that looks like. We got a trailer, which was super dope. I enjoyed it a lot, but we didn't get much information from it other than codas are going to have some type of important points to be made. Genetics is in the house. Predatory miners are the biggest naysayers about the merge. Hell yeah. Love it.
Follow
there
the
are people.
Money. Follow the money.
Mm-hmm. Yep, and they are incentivized to keep that chain going. They are incentivized to put out FUD on this proof of stake merge. So we will continue to be following it. Thanks for showing up here, Genetics to NFT Live. Okay, I'm going to pull up this ApeCoin proposal. I need some filler time here, so I don't know if GIF or Fun Uncle, you got some filler time.
I got the ApeCoin proposal.
Oh shit! Okay, Uncle, you're going to have to be on NFT Live every week now, my dude.
Yeah, he's the man. I'm useless. Keep him around.
So here's the deal. We talked about ETH getting unlocked post-merge, although that's going to be in 23. There's a couple things on ApeCoin that are, at play here. And Ape is definitely like one of the most talked about cryptocurrencies outside of like the larger, the larger coins in the top 10. So there's two things. One, be on the lookout for ApeCoin staking to go live. I think there is like positive bullish sentiment on staking getting, put into any environment. People like want to buy the token to then stake and earn more. Keep on the lookout for the date around the unlock for VCs. That's another that's like a super bearish, moment of sentiment there when you talk about ApeCoin. And if you're trying to buy it now, if there's an unlock here in the next month, I believe, then people might be incentivized to dump that if they have a lot of it. The other thing is just the general, wellness of this ApeCoin DAO, which is what Uncle has right in front of you. Essentially, TLDR, to make this super simple, when ApeCoin came out, the DAO was created and a council was put into place not by a vote. Now, this council was supposed to be voted on in like 6 months' time, something to the effect of like, okay, when we get to this date, we will have a vote for new people to be added to this council. The traditional council to be replaced, essentially. Well, the council that exists today is asking for some more time, quote unquote. And the community, if you go into the comments, a lot of the community is not happy about this. They want the community involved in what's happening here because they believe that the council isn't doing a good job. So that's kind of the TLDR. They're putting this out to a proposal here, and we'll see what the apes essentially say with their coins via vote. So what are your guys' thought about this? As you can see there, Kobe is saying, go back up once, cancel the council, and insult Kobe as supreme leader.
So, okay, I think it sets a bad precedent that the first time that you're supposed to have a transition, people are trying to rewrite the rules. Like straight up. Also, I wasn't aware that they weren't voted in the first place, which also makes me lean away from keeping them in. And also on top of that, it is not clear to me by reading that letter why they need more time. All it says is, for continuity, which it's like, okay, I understand the importance of that, but it's not like, hey, these are the XY things that we're in the works on specifically in the next month or two. And so we just want to fulfill these tasks that we're already working. It's like, I don't understand why you need more time because all you're saying is continuity. That's not a good enough reason. So to me, sets a bad precedent. They weren't voted in the first place, and it's not clear to me why they need more time.
So ApeCoin is at $4.36. I think the height of it was like $26 at some point. Obviously, the market has crashed in that time, so it's not all on Ape, the fact that happened. But we do
still the 36th largest blockchain by volume.
Yeah.
Network,
well,
so.
yeah. You're correct about the market cap there. The other point I want to get to is, and why I brought up the price, is like what your thoughts are, Uncle, on a token that's in essentially the GameFi space, right? Like you said, you're kind of doing research there. We've seen other deeds or other sides come out. Other deeds are here, of course. So are there like topics that you're kind of looking at with ApeCoin outside of just like DAO governance?
I mean, right off the top of my head, that's news to me that it's 36 on the coin market cap. And the first thing that pops in my mind is that the Wax blockchain is 130th on the coin market cap. And that is a blockchain that has enthusiastic fan base, a play to earn game ecosystem, and NFTs, and it's ranked 130th. Now let's go to ApeCoin here. It's ranked 36. That's incredible. But then you have to, whenever you compare and contrast other blockchains that are doing similar things in the GameFi space, you then go, well, maybe there's a lot of speculation here. Maybe this is just a fanatic bubble that's based on a lot of fairy dust, right? It's just the first, stream of consciousness that's coming out of me right now as I'm hearing this information. That, that's a lot of freaking money just in the token alone. Not to consider how much money is in the NFTs, and you go, wow, that's a lot of power that this council now wields. But then you got to go to the other side of the token. It's like other side of the token, well, fuck, turn that off. The other side of the coin is that, what else could they be doing? You know what I'm saying? Like, it looks like they're doing their best job to be politically correct and try to like manage this like a well-oiled company the best they can. But I think haters are going to come out of the woodworks regardless of what you do. And, the squeaky wheel always has the loudest voice, right? For lack of a better phrase. And that's just what I'm hearing about this.
I like the other side of the token. Giff can jump in here, but I like the other side of the token reference. I think that actually works well in our space.
Got it.
Yeah, that was poetry. I think this is also the curse of high expectations, right? It's like you're coming into a situation where the community and what's been done in a year and a half is absolutely insane. The expectations are massive, and so if you're not delivering, it's hard to deal with that. But I think they need to get people in there that are going to be moving at the same pace as the Yuga team has been moving, and trying at least their best to live up to those expectations. And I think the challenge is it's high expectations. That's hard. But if you're not cutting it, let other people get in there and give it a shot. I come back to the idea, and I think Genetics is saying, she's got a point here too. Decentralized leadership should be voted in. Otherwise they're just like a traditional LLC. So it's kind of back to my original point. I think it sets a horrible precedent for the first people that are in that aren't even voted in. When it's their turn to hand off the keys, they're already trying to rewrite the rules. To me, that's not a good precedent. It just says that these rules don't actually matter. What the community wants is less important than how we want to run shit. I don't like it. And it reminds me of, some kind of authoritarian, wannabe authoritarian presidents that, we may or may not have had, who just come in and basically say the rules don't apply to me, fuck everything. And I don't think that's how shit should work.
Genetics, shout out for the comment here. Again, decentralized leadership should be voted in. I get back to the expectation point that one of you made there. It depends on what wording you're using when it comes to your project. And Biggie Poppins made a great point on Friday's episode of NFT Live talking about Moonbirds and the whole CCO fiasco that happened there. I don't think that the team came out early on and was saying these decisions are going to be made by the community. And therefore people shouldn't be expecting that that's happened, even though it's in the space. And that was a really profound point, because I think people assume just because you're a Web3 project that you're going to be led by some type of DAO, by some type of community vote. It's like Kevin Rose owns this project or owns this company. He can decide what he wants to do with it. I know people are going to string me up by my thumbs for saying that, but unless you come out immediately when your project is launched and say this, then people shouldn't expect otherwise.
I think that's a fair point, but also counterpoint. The issue there is that when they sold everybody in on the project, they sold them those rights, right? So it is kind of like a mini rug or a bait and switch in a way. So it's like, I don't know. That's a whole other friggin' topic that we've already talked to death that we could get into.
I agree with you on the copyright. I agree with you on the CCO, but the actual decision making, I think some people were coming out and saying, why didn't we like decide on this as a community? It's like, that's the point I think Biggie was getting at. I agree that they did sell them on the fact that they would own those rights. So Genetics, great point. Fantastic topic from both of you. We'll be watching ApeCoin. I would say again, watch that unlock for VCs. For the initial people who backed Ape, there's a larger unlock that's happening. So make sure you get that date. I don't want to.
Yeah, we don't know when it is.
I don't want to say anything. I don't want to put my foot in my mouth on any date. I don't know if it's going to get pushed back.
69.
Let's see.
Put that foot in that mouth, baby.
I'm thinking
that's good eating.
Uncle's talking latex here on NFT Live.
And shout out to Jessica, by the way. One of the funniest leaders in the Web3 space. We gotta hype her up more often.
I love the innuendos that are popping up on these shows where it's like you have to now watch both shows to actually understand the jokes that we're laying down.
I just like that Nifty Q literally just went like this as he's talking about innuendos. So.
It's a shake weights, dude. Shake weights. I gotta get my weightlifting done here after this, man.
Oh God, that's funny. Now you know. I gotta hype up Jessica every chat. I can't say her last name. Say it for me.
Yatrofsky.
Just call her J-Yacht.
Brilliant Web3 builder, NFT artist, photographer. She's gonna be the first artist featured on Coinbase. Am I getting that right?
She's not the first artist. She is one of the first artist partners, one artist partners, but I believe she's the first photographer that is going to be featured on Coinbase NFT. Not only that, she went to battle with them about censorship and won. This is a huge heckin' deal, y'all. Shout out J.I. Literally a pioneer in the space, standing up, going to war against platforms trying to censor artists and actually winning, actually literally making a big difference for all of the artists to come after her by basically, she has this beautiful collection that's nudes. Basically, it's tasteful nudes photography of the human body. It's art, and they were censoring that on their platform. And she went to battle, and to their credit, Coinbase listened and they pivoted. But without somebody like Jessica standing up, using her platform, using her voice to fight against censorship, that might not have been the standard that was set for who knows how many years. So shout out J-Yacht. We love you. You're the shit.
She's literally blazing trails in the space. So I just had to shout her out.
Yep.
Had to shout her out.
She was talking about on the GM Web3 show. Now we got a homie in the Coinbase NFT. Now that paves the way for others to kind of get in, and she could be that plant inside. Hopefully Nova from Coinbase NFT is listening to this, because this could get dangerous.
Would that be cool? They did the right thing. No, they're doing the right thing by listening to her and featuring artists like her in the first place. So you know what, Coinbase, we are still hopeful. We're here for you to succeed, and we just want you to listen a little bit, and that's what's up.
All right, folks. We are coming up to the end of the episode here. Shout out to you guys listening on YouTube, on Twitter. We appreciate every single one of you. Growing this channel has definitely been a pleasure. I love the crossover that we get with now the Nifty Castle crew. We've had that, for a minute within our own ecosystem, right? Having fun Uncle here on the show. He has his own show here on the network as well that he does every Sunday. Keep a lookout for that. Guys, I mean, we touched on the topics. We hit an hour-long episode, which of course happens. Give me your last takes here on what you're doing individually. Any hot takes? You guys are like touching each other. I don't know what's happening here on the episode, but yeah, finish up. I don't know. I can't have us go out like this. So you guys somehow bring it back and talk whatever you want to talk about. Floor is open. Anybody?
I got nothing other than big love to the lads, our vibe, our tribe. I'm just always grateful and blessed to be hanging out with y'all, and I can't wait for another episode. Oh, check it out on Twitter Live too. Yo, This shit's live streaming on Twitter now, y'all. It's fucking dope. That's it. GM Web3, Monday through Thursday. All right, there we go. I'm done.
Yo, show up to that. Show up. I'll link it here in chat here so you guys can kind of follow that Twitter profile. That is tomorrow. The last one of the week's tomorrow. Go ahead, Uncle.
No, I was just going to say, like, I'm just so excited to have this community, honestly, and we're growing it every single day. And I saw it when I went into the Twitter space, GM Web3, like just I'm meeting new people every single time that I'm forming these great bonds with. And it's because we have these commonalities with each other. And so just to like every single day when I participate with this group, it's kind of like we're lifting each other up, you know, in the same way, like I want to hype J-Yacht. J-Yacht is just blazing trails. So like, I want to pour gasoline on her fire to keep her going. Same with you guys, like whatever I can do to build you up. Same with LADZ City and Nifty Castle community. Hit me up. I do not shadow ban people. My DMs are open. I want to communicate with all of you guys constantly. And can I pull this off? No, there's no way. It's impossible. Fuck, I'm doing it backwards. There, okay. I love you guys so much.
Come on, Funko.
I just got back from a bee, so my body hurts. I love you guys so much.
Another great episode. Fantastic. Our vibe, our tribe. Love you guys. See you next week. See you this week. We have a show tomorrow and Friday.